promised, we got that breaking news. Good to be with you. I'm Katie Tur. We're following that news out of Washington, D.C., where the Justice Department has just released transcripts and audio from Epstein co-conspirator Ghislaine Maxwell with Deputy Attorney General Todd Blanche to House lawmakers. Again, there is audio. The audio is coming. We are trying to turn it. Joining us now, MSNBC legal analyst and former Assistant Manhattan District Attorney Catherine Christian. New York Times opinion columnist David French is with us as well. I will note the interesting timing in doing both the John Bolton search today and releasing 263 pages of Epstein, of the Ghislaine Maxwell interview. I'm going to just now, it's going to take a bit. I'm going to read the pertinent interview portions related to both President Clinton and President Trump between Todd Blanche and Ghislaine Maxwell. I will also note that sitting in on this interview was an FBI agent, which means, and it's a proffer agreement, so if Maxwell lied to Todd Blanche or others, she could be prosecuted. Lying to an FBI agent, whether under oath or not, is a federal crime. So bear with me. I'm going to read it as we try to turn this audio. This is on page 103, again, of these 263 pages. Shout out to Tom Winter for finding it so quickly. Todd Blanche asking Ghislaine Maxwell, do you know whether, for example, President Clinton ever received a massage? Ghislaine Maxwell, I don't believe he did. Todd Blanche, and what makes you say you don't believe he did? Ghislaine, well, because I don't. So that's a good question. The time that Epstein and President Clinton spent together, the only times I believe, well, obviously, they traveled. There was that, you know, the plane. They went on the plane 26 times or whatever. That would be one journey. So they spent time on the plane together, and I don't believe there was ever a massage on the plane. So that would be the only time that I think President Clinton could have received a massage, and he didn't because I was there. Todd Blanche. And you mentioned that early in the very beginning of the conversation, you mentioned President Trump in the early 90s. Maxwell, yes. Blanche, what did you observe as far as President Trump and his relationship with you or Mr. Epstein? Maxwell, well, I just want to say for my relationship with President Trump, relationship's a big word. But I just want to say that I met him, or I believe I may have, because of my father in the 90s. Blanche, okay. So my father liked him very much. He was loved, really liked his wife as well, because we were both Czechoslovakian. And as far as I'm concerned, President Trump was always very cordial and very kind to me. And I just want to say that I admire his extraordinary achievement in becoming the president. And I like him, and I've always liked him. So that is the sum and substance of my entire relationship with him. Blanche. What about Mr. Epstein's relationship with him? Maxwell. I don't know how they met. I don't know how they became friends. I certainly saw them together and remember the few times I observed them together, but they were friendly. I mean, they seemed friendly. Blanche. Was that in social settings or was that in private settings? Maxwell. I believe I only ever saw them in social settings. I don't recall any private settings. Blanche. Have you ever been to Mar-a-Lago in Palm Beach? Maxwell. I have. Blanche. In what time period are you thinking about when you say yes? By the way, these are pictures from Mar-a-Lago that we're showing on the screen right now. Maxwell. I don't remember when the president purchased Mar-a-Lago, so from whenever it turned into the club, I went there and I loved going there. Blanche. Did you go there alone or with Mr. Epstein? Maxwell, mostly alone. Blanche, do you know where? Maxwell, and the times I went there, it was for an event, maybe once or twice. Blanche, and do you know whether Mr. Epstein ever went there? Maxwell, I believe he did. But again, he didn't take me with him all the time. So he would go, oh, right. He did from time to time, but he would go alone. I think he would maybe go himself to the spa. I certainly did. Blanche, did you ever observe President Trump receiving a massage? Maxwell, never. Blanche, did you ever observe, you said that you were, have you seen, there's photographs, public photographs of Mr. Epstein and President Trump together. Maxwell, yes. Blanche, And there's photographs, I think. You're in some of them. Again, these are ones that we're showing. Maxwell, yes. Blanche, as well. Those all appear to be social settings. Maxwell, yes. Todd Blanche, do you? Well, Maxwell interrupts. That's my memory. They were social settings. I don't know Epstein, if he had whatever the nature of the president's friendship, if you will, or however you want to define that with Epstein. I never witnessed. I think they were friendly, like people are in social settings. I don't think they were close friends, or I certainly never witnessed the president in any of, I don't recall ever seeing him in his house, for instance. I actually never saw the president in any type of massage setting. I never witnessed the president in any appropriate setting in any way. The president was never inappropriate with anybody. In the times that I was with him, he was a gentleman in all respects. Blanche, when's the last time you saw him in person, President Trump? Maxwell. It's been a long time. Probably not sometime in the beginning, mid 2000s maybe. And it would only have been a social setting as far as I can recall. Blanche, and did you ever hear Mr. Epstein or anybody say that President Trump had done anything inappropriate with masseuses or with anybody in your world? Maxwell, absolutely never in any context. Blanche, do you know whether 14 masseuses from Mar-a-Lago Spa ended up giving 15 massages? I'm sorry, take out those numbers. Do you know whether masseuses from Mar-a-Lago Spa ended up giving private massages to Mr. Epstein? I'm not asking for what you may have read, but at the time, from your personal knowledge, do you know whether that's true? Maxwell, I don't recall. Is it possible? Yes. But I don't remember. I don't remember that. So I don't recall that, but it's possible. Blanche, do you have a recollection of you ever recruiting a masseuse from Mar-a-Lago to give a private massage to Mr. Epstein? Maxwell, I never recruited a masseuse from Mar-a-Lago for that, as far as I remember. I can't ever recollect doing that. Blanche, okay, so what I think we should do now, it's about 12:15, we'll take a break, and we'll come back in a little bit. Maxwell, okay. Forgive me for the pauses in the reading. The conversation is broken in places, but that is the 2 pages that I think Tom Winter flagged as the most pertinent to the conversation that we've been having. Tom Winter joins us now, investigative correspondent for NBC News. Tom, what do you make of this?
So there's 22 references to Donald Trump on the first day, 3 references to him on the second day of the interview with Maxwell. I haven't read through all of the references to Trump. I highlighted the section where she's referred to in law enforcement circles as point blank asked, did you see that thing that people are talking about? You've just read there. It's a tricky read because the numbers are kind of combined with it. So.
We are following major news in the Jeffrey Epstein saga. The Justice Department has publicly released a transcript and audio of the interview between Deputy Attorney General Todd Blanche, who of course is also the former personal attorney of President Trump, and Ghislaine Maxwell, Epstein's imprisoned accomplice. CNN's Kara Scannell is with us now. Kara, we know that you're going through the transcripts. We have a team doing that. What more are we learning?
Yeah, Brianna, we're still going through these transcripts, and the beginning of this meeting, which took place over 2 days and lasted for just about 9 hours, the Deputy Attorney General Todd Blanche explains to Maxwell that this is not a cooperation agreement. It's a proffer, meaning that they won't say what she tells them as a reason to prosecutor, but he said if she lies in any way, it would open up the door for her to potentially face charges. So we're still going through this transcript, but from my quick reading of various sections of it, Blanche is asking Maxwell about a number of famous names, politicians, what she knows about President Trump, what she knows about President Bill Clinton. So as her lawyer said after that meeting, they did talk about, as he put it, something like 100 different people. So we're starting to get a sense of what Maxwell is saying. Now, on a quick scan of that and President Trump and President Bill Clinton, Maxwell does not say that they did anything wrong. She's just explaining how she knows them. So neither of them are being accused of any wrongdoing from Maxwell, and she is just kind of putting into context how she knows them. You know, we are still going through that, but that would be consistent with what Maxwell has said. I mean, she was charged by the Justice Department with perjury because she had told someone in a civil deposition involving an accuser that she knew nothing about what Jeffrey Epstein was doing with underage girls, about any sexual assault. So that is what she was charged with perjury of. And then, of course, she was indicted and went to trial and was convicted of sex trafficking conspiracy, helping recruit, groom, and at times sexually abuse young girls with Jeffrey Epstein herself. So these questions, though, that we're just starting to get a handle on here as we go through this transcript, you know, she is not saying that anyone else so far from our reading was complicit in any way. She, though, of course, has always maintained that nothing nefarious or illegal had gone on. So that is not surprising. But we are getting a sense of just how detailed the Deputy Attorney General Blanche was in his questionings of her and what he was asking her specifically. I've been reading through sections related to President Bill Clinton, you know, how he knew them and Hillary Clinton. And she is, you know, talking about that Bill Clinton was her friend that she met through a boyfriend of hers and was not Epstein's friend. So, you know, providing a little bit more context around the relationships here, but we're still going through this. It's still very early stage. And, you know, Bill Clinton has always maintained that he just had traveled on Epstein's planes, to go to certain events, sometimes with the Clinton Foundation, and was not accused of wrongdoing and has denied any wrongdoing. And the same for President Donald Trump. He has not been accused of any wrongdoing and has always denied any.
Backfire. They might not intend it to, but Maxwell just hurt Trump because she has negative credibility. Negative credibility, not no credibility. Lots of people have limited credibility because you don't know who they are. They might have bias. You just don't trust what they're saying for any number of reasons, whether rational or irrational. But a lot of people have no credibility. Relatively few people have negative credibility like Ghіઝlаіnе Maxwell. Whatever she's saying, people are going to believe the opposite. They are going to believe the opposite. And so when she comes out and says, oh, there's no list, or Donald Trump wasn't on the list and I never seen him do anything bad, combined with the fact that she has motivations to lie. I'm not necessarily accusing her of lying, because I don't know. But what I do know is most people are going to accuse her of lying. But she has motivations to lie. We've already seen her get moved to a nicer prison. And she could get a pardon or get a reduced sentence or get clemency or whatever from Donald Trump. She has motivation to lie. And so people are already saying, I don't believe this. And from my perspective then, this is going to hurt Donald Trump. Because if he's associating himself saying, oh, the great Ghіઝlаіnе Maxwell, this awesome lady who everyone respects and trusts, right, is saying I'm a good guy. He's like, yeah, we definitely trust her opinion. Because you know who else Ghіઝlаіnе thought was a great guy, Donald? She thought Jeffrey Epstein was a good guy. She loved Jeffrey Epstein. They were romantically involved and they were friends and they were partners. If she thought Jeffrey was great and she thinks that she's talking good about you, what does that say?